Hi everyone. So today we have with us Ravi Kumar. He's cracked UPSC in the very first attempt, and in the first attempt he's got into railway service, and this year it was his second attempt and he's made it to All India rank 84, and prospectively he'll be in the IAS. So he will be taking up the initial session focusing upon some basic strategies, what was his plan of preparation, and his experience of preparation. After that, you can ask your queries, whether it is regarding the preparation or answer writing, or his optional is geography, or you can also ask about geography optional. Okay? And please keep your phones on silent. Now, M.S. Srinivasan sir will be introducing Ravi. He's also from IIT.
Yeah. Good morning, all. This is my second interaction with Mr. Ravi Kumar. We interacted in mock sessions. So, mock interview for civil services interviews. So, he is from IIT Roorkee, and I can say that his 84th rank is not just what you call, it's not a casual or a coincidental one, because immediately after his mock interview, I talked to Shashank and said that he is definitely a prospective candidate. Because my interaction, as I was asking questions which are very, very basic, at the same time fundamental and creative, analytical, which all the boards ask. Like, he is from Rajasthan. I asked about the quota education system. Yeah, quota, that is a factory. There is a documentary on quota factory. Quota factory is about all the engineering and all these competitive examinations. Then I asked why quota has become such a prominent place, and where do you locate the reasons? Then about his education at Roorkee, the beginnings of Roorkee institution itself, and relating to his subject, plus the location of Roorkee in Uttarakhand, how it is related to more Uttar Pradesh than Uttarakhand. How do you justify? Then he was asked. So his understanding, his approach, I could gauge in the mock interview itself. So I think this is an opportunity for you all to discuss his strategy, to ask many questions, how you have to proceed. Because in the first, as Shashank already told, in the first attempt itself, he cracked civil services, and second attempt, a very good rank, and he might get his IAS cadre somewhere in north, I believe. Most probably north. Might not be in Rajasthan, at least somewhere in north he'll be posted. So it's a very good position in terms of his cadre also. So hope you discuss with him threadbare, need not feel shy. You can be very, very, very creative in your questions, and he is creative in his answers, I know that. So thank you. We can proceed with the session. Now over to Mr. Ravi Kumar.
Hello everyone. Can anyone hear me? How many of you guys are comfortable with English? Thank God, because I'm not comfortable with Telugu. It's tough for me to speak. My name is Ravi, as I was already told. This was my second attempt. In my first attempt, I got Indian Railway Account Service, and second attempt, 84th is the rank. Somehow, luckily, I got this. So I'll be telling you a brief about my academic background and the way I prepared in my first attempt and my second attempt, and different stages of interview will be very quick. It will be very quick. Please do remind me if I'm going very fast, okay? There's no issue in me repeating it. So I'll tell you about those things. It'll be very quick, and then I'll be asking you, then you can ask your questions regarding your own preparation, your own stages, etc., etc. Fine? Okay, so I belong to Alwar district of Rajasthan. Most of you might not know also. And I've done my BTech in civil engineering from IT Roorkee, and soon after my college, I gave my first attempt, and that was my first attempt. After this, in COVID, this was my second attempt. Okay, talking about how did I prepare exactly for this examination, it was very, very tough in the initial stages because of the college. I started preparing in properly I started preparing in the last year of my college, fourth year, that is. I somehow knew that I will be doing it in third year, second semester, but I properly started from fourth year and gave a dedicated time to my preparation. I was not sure whether I'll be able to do the prelims also, but somehow with too much of repetitions of my source books, somehow there were convictions that were generating in me. I followed very basic books, revised them multiple times, did the current affairs also very limited, but revised them some of the times, and I was not expecting too much from my first attempt. But when the paper came, I was somehow able to do the things, and I thought that it is something that I do not require, any external environment or anything. If I know what the strategy is, if I know in which direction I have to move, I can pretty much secure that. Then I'm talking about my first attempt. So I started preparing in the final year. Then soon after my college was over, after 15 days, my prelims examination was there. I did that. After prelims examination was over, for mains exam, I took the test series. I went to Delhi because I wanted to write the tests. In mains, I think you all are aware that answer writing is very important. So I wanted to take it like going into the class and just wanted to write there. So I took test series over there. It was a very tough time physically because I was not able to write that fast. I did not know because, as you can see, I'm just very thin person. It's almost impossible for me to hold the pen also. It's very heavy. So it was tough for me to write 20 answers in those constrained time and to write it at a level where the examiner is happy and giving me decent numbers. And then only I started preparing optional also seriously because I was not, see, in my first attempt, all I wanted to do is to see how prelims looks. So I did not went through answer writing, did not went through optional properly. Although I was aware that I am taking geography as an optional, I bought some of the books, wrote some of the notes, but never did it comprehensively, knowing that I will be doing this. I just wanted to know what geography is. And when prelims result came, I was like, oh man, I have to give mains now. So then I was thinking, now I have to complete geography, I have to write answers, I have to cover. There were so many things that I came to know first time after the result came. For example, security is a subject that comes, disaster management comes, international relation ka ek alag paper hota hai, etc., etc. I was not aware of that. So within those 2.5 months that was with me before the mains started happen, I started preparing things. They were very tough. Things were tough at that time. But somehow, by the time of 1 week before the mains, you would say I came into the zone where I knew that I will be able to write some answers and I will not be like brutally ashamed of writing what I know. Okay, so I was writing some of the answers. Mains happen. It means I was thinking I did not write good, but somehow that also worked. I was not sure that I will be clearing mains or not. Part of the reason was my geography was very bad. my geography, see, it's understandable. I did not devoted that much time. But yeah, I did very little amount of geography from very small sources, that also of very years old. Okay, so I did from there. Slowly, then mains came and mains result came, and I was like, man, mains ho gaya. Then I have to prepare for interview. Then an interview was very fruitful to me. In interview, I knew that everyone gets the same time that I am getting. In mains and prelims, there was notion in my head that everyone else has done coaching, everyone has done 1 year of preparation or 2 years of preparation. I just came out of the college. Something is wrong. I might not be getting it. Right? But in interview, I knew that now the level, the playing ground is level. Right? So then I prepared for that, but the maturity level was not there. In my first interview, the maturity level was not there. For example, if I would know that, see, I did not knew what exactly is government. I've just read it. Government is legislative, executive, judiciary, and all this. But I just did not know what exactly government is. If someone would ask me what is government, I would not be able to say. That was the low level of maturity that I had, because I was not into UPSC since my kids. I just started it in my college, last phase of the college only. So maturity was not there. Interview went decent only. They were asking why so early you want to come. I was very young at that time. So it did not went very good, but somehow I decently managed, knowing that I have a confidence. Everyone is the same amount of time. Then the number were average only. 173 I got at that time. They were not very high, but they were average. They were not very less. So in that I got, that was the first attempt. Then in the second attempt, I think I got hit by everyone. The thing that everyone got hit by, it was COVID. We all were home locked. Quarantine किया गया था हमको. So in the house it was very, very tough to maintain some composure and to write the answers. As a matter of fact, I did not prepare very good this attempt. So I wanted to skip this attempt and wanted to join the service. And in the next attempt, I wanted to attempt it. In the third attempt, basically, I wanted to attempt it. But somehow the people around you, like your relatives and all those, they think that, "Arey, ab to karna padta, itna stage pe aa gaya, so you have to do it." So I filled the form, and then I started preparing for prelims. Prelims were not smoother. Prelims has always been haunting to me. I still don't know how to clear prelims. It's very, very tough. But once prelims was over, in mains, I knew that I can do it because I've already done it. Mains is kind of a thing that once you get the neck of, you know how to write answers. For example, even now I can tell you what is the solution for India and Pakistan. However, I don't know exactly, but I can write a very good 15-number mark answer of what India and Pakistan should do. Like if their diplomat would be looking at my answer, they'd be like, "Arey, yehi to karna tha." So mains is somewhat my favorite zone, and but yes, my composure level was not that good. My dedication and commitment was not that good as compared to my first attempt, because in my first attempt everything was very, very new to me. Everything like new subjects were there, new areas were there. Answer writing was the first time I was experiencing in my life. In the second attempt, it was the repetition of the same things. So I did not felt very enthusiastic to do it. So the dedication dip hua tha in that attempt, and in those attempts I started to realize the greatness of those people who do it years after years after years, and that get selected, because the process is long, uncertainty are high, vacancies are low. So there are very good chances that in the first attempt we might not get it, second attempt we might not get it, third attempt we might not get it. And those people who continuously persevere through this and keep on giving next attempt, they are like of a very good mental genre, I would say. They are like at the peak, they are the real heroes of this examination. So I started understanding at that time. Avin, my friend, is sitting here. He was there in Delhi with me. He's been pursuing this even after a few initial failures. It's like really commendable from my perspective, at least. Then in the mains, I prepared I prepared like for 1.5 or 2 months or something like that. In the mains, I would write the papers, but I became very lethargic. I did not personally write a single paper in one sitting, and that became a problem for me in the main exam also. In the main exam, I the time management was a very big issue. I was running out of time in every other paper. Am I understandable, right? I'm saying very slow, right? So yeah, in the second, time management was very bad. So one thing I would like to is manage your time very good. It does not matter if you are writing a mock test here in the institute or in your hostels or your room or at your home. Take them as you are doing it in the real paper, because you need a simulated environment. It is not a magic that you can just create going into the exam. For some people it can be. If you think you are exception, you can try that. But for most of us, we don't have that much neck. We need to have that simulation again and again and again, writing the paper in that simulated environment. So if you can do that, trust me, your journey will be more smoother and your result will be more certainer. I don't know if that is a word also, but yeah, it is more certain. See, maths probability, right? Then in mains, when I wrote the mains, my time management was very bad. I knew I developed maturity. I was able to answer most of the questions. Like I understood what the government is at this time, I think. Maturity was there. I was able to write very good answers, but time management was very bad. I was running out of time in almost every paper. There were few instances which were very crumbling. At the end of the paper, I was I was required to write 3-4 questions in last 10-15 minutes, 15 marker questions. Are you guys aware of 15 markers, 10 markers, mains perspective? You aware of it? How many of you are not aware of the mains? You are not aware, you are not aware, you are not aware, you are not aware, you are not aware. Only boys are not aware. Okay. Okay, I'll try to make it simple for you. Okay, just go with it for a while. Yeah. So time management was very bad. So after writing mains, I knew somehow that I did not perform to the potential, because I did not study it good also, and I did not perform good also in there. But the maturity was there, and my first year's hard work was there with me. So somehow I was able to steer through it and still able to complete the paper. And I think that all made all the difference, because in the mains my number are decent actually this time. In my interview this time I was fully mature. I was knowing everything. Then also I got lesser marks than the last year. So it was only the mains that actually helped me. The mains number. Interview is very important and very genuine, or what you could say, an easy step, which is not that hard to score very good at. It just requires your personality understanding. It requires how good you presenting yourself. There must be some issues regarding your communication gaps. You might not be able to say exactly what you are thinking. Those are some of the areas that you really can work on. In 1 month, 1.5 months is big enough time that you can really make yourself understand that this is how you should be talking, this is how you should be presenting your answers, etc., keeping your voice soft, etc. This is my soft voice, by the way. Okay, so yeah, but then also in my interview things did not went all through my way. And after the interview I was like, I came out and I told to my father and mother, like, one more attempt lagega. But I did not want to give the attempt, the next attempt, third attempt. But I have already filled the forms. This year on 24th of September the result came, and on 23rd of September I was like, abhi mujhe next paper dena hoga. I have to give the next paper, because 10 October ko in 16 or 17 days the prelims is there, right? So I was very much sure on 23rd that I will not be able to do it. But on 24th somehow a friend of mine was called me and then she said, you got 84th rank, and I was like, it was a big relief at that moment that this happened. However, I was not happy about it, because I did not perform to my potential, and plus also the reason I did not want to give this exam in this attempt. So there were few things that were in my head. Not happy, but yeah, somewhat relieved that I did not have to go through the cycle again. So this was my entire journey. Okay. For some of the people, I would just quickly tell few things about how UPSC works. Every one of you are aware that there are 3 stages, right? Right? Or you want me to tell that also? Okay, I'll just quickly tell you. See, UPSC in CSE, you got 3 stages. Wait. Sorry, the wiring is there. Okay. Prelims, mains, and interview. Okay, in prelims you have two parts. One is General Studies and CSET, yes. Okay, I'm sorry. General Studies and CSET. How many of people are comfortable with CSET? Or how many of you actually fear CSET? Can you raise your hands a little higher? Both the hands higher? Yeah, now I can see you guys. Okay. Okay, then in mains, actually there are 9 papers. How many of you guys know? You know, right? You actually are knowing more than I ever know. So there are 9 papers. You start with essay. Then there are 4 GS. GS 1, 2, 3, 4. By the way, this is how I write my answers. It looks more presentable. If you want to learn anything, you can like how schematic the diagram should look like, or if you want to inculcate. Okay. In GS we have 4 papers. Then there are 2 language papers which you must pass. Won't take much time, but should not ignore, just like CSET. See, if you ignore anything, no, it will cost 1 year. 1 year I think is big enough for us in our social life, right? And then we have 2 papers of optionals. 2 papers of optional, okay? Then interview. Interview is fine. So this is the general format. I think you don't need any explanation. Anyone need any explanation in this? Anyone? No one? Sure? Okay. Alright. Now I'll be talking about the GS. Any GS among all these 4, let's take GS. It consists of 2 type of questions. One is 10 mark questions and another one is 15 markers. Both of them are 10 questions. So there are total 20 questions. In the first set there are 10 markers. In the second set there are 15 markers. For 10 markers you need to write 150 words. For 15 markers you need to write 250 words. However, this word limit you might or might not adhere. The moment your answer is done, you can just do it. I follow the basic principle of completing all the pages. I never look at it. So I complete all the pages. I never count how many words I have written. If they are crossing 150, it's okay. If they are not crossing, it's well over with me. Okay? But yeah, this is tentative. You can understand. Initially, in the head, it should be there. How many words coming? Like in in 10 markers, you'll get 2 pages to write. In 15 markers, you'll get 3 pages to write. So initially, it is always curiosity, like how many words I'm writing per question or like per page, right? So initially, it will be there. Roughly, we write 70 to 80 words in each paper if we are trying to write very good, right? But if we make a very big map of India because we don't know the answer, then the marks number of words reduces. All right. So this is major general template. Did you guys got it? Got it? No? Okay. Yeah. So this was major of those things. I'll tell a little bit about geography also. How many of you guys have geography as an optional? None of you guys have. So I'll tell you about my optional preparation. Okay, not geography preparation. Geography was my optional, by the way. See, this is how you bluff in the exam. I knew about geography, but I'll be telling you about optional. But I'll be telling you on some logical lines. Okay. So my optional was not my stronghold ever in the entire exam. Somehow it helped me in the second exam. What happened is, in my first attempt and in my second attempt, okay, I'll have to tell this. This was actually quite tough. All right. I started. I knew that my optional will be geography. I knew my optional in my last year only, before filling the form, that I will be taking geography. I got some of the reference books from the market, but they were so huge that it was tough for me to complete them. I did not even knew how to prepare geography optional. So my geography was very unstable actually. Then in the second, but then once I cleared prelims, in my first attempt, when I cleared my prelims, then I started noticing that I have to do good in geography. So I went to the market, bought another notes, thinking that this will work, not the earlier ones. So that was the first time I saw those notes. I went to the shop, I asked what is the smallest note that you have, whichever it is, please give it to me, because I just have 2 months, right? I think I will know it. So that was the entire story behind my optional. I did not do it very good. However, I covered major portions of the geography and I was confident that I will be doing it. In almost all of your optional, there are 2 papers, not almost, in all papers, there are 2 papers, 1 and 2. How many of you guys have engineering as an optional? You have. So it will be exclusive to you. See, in any other paper like anthropology, sociology, public health, etc., etc., first paper is more driven towards some of the theory, and second paper has a lot more to do with India, contemporary part, current affairs, etc., etc. So kind of the second paper looks like a GS papers. It looks like GS paper. I thought it should be written like GS. I thought that geographical answer likhna hai mujhe, but I never knew how to write a geography answer. So I wrote GS type answer in the second paper, and I was landed 84 number. They are abysmally low. For those people who don't know, it is there very low. Usually, people who score decent marks are like 270, 280, 290, 300, etc., etc. So in any of these schemes, this can never help. This number cannot help. If you are getting 84, then you should definitely get 200 in one paper, which is next to not possible. Some people can do it, but they can be very rare. Okay, so they were not very good at any cost. Yeah, in the second attempt, what I tried to do is I did not study much of optional because of my letharginess, etc., etc. But somehow I was able to make some adjustments. I was in my head, I was thinking what I'll be writing in optional 2, 1, and 2, and 2. So my entire preparation, my second attempt is to get good number in optional a little bit. And how to do that? The way to do is to go back to the book that I got in my college. I made some of the notes, to go back to them, to use my in my first attempts notes that I purchased from the market, and use them very good, and then put all my head towards writing how I will be writing the answers. It does not matter if you know the thing. If you have written the thing, it is known that you know the thing. I might not know where Pakistan lies, but if I write the answer about Pakistan, it is known that I know the answer. Okay, so you need not know your okay. First thing is, the best case scenario is you should know your optional very good, whichever it is, sociology, anthropology, etc., etc. You should dedicate proper time, 1, 2 months, 3 months, however time it is taking. Test series you should take and everything. But suppose if you cannot do that, for example, you cannot do it, okay, and you have just idea of how to do it, then understand how to write the answers of it. It is easier. It is easier to write optional ka answer than to understand it. Now it looks thoda sa hoax, but I will not endorse it though. I will just say that understand your optional very good, because it helps you getting into the service and getting you good service. See, right now the fight is to get into the list of UPSC, right? But once you get on the list, you'll be like, oh, I should have got an Indian Railway Service, I should have got a revenue service, police service milna chahiye tha, AS milna chahiye tha, right? This fight is there. You won't get it. Right now for you it isn't there. Suppose if you get IAS, then your head will be like, oh, I should be getting this cadre in my house cadre, this should be there, this should be there. So at every particular stage there is a fight, and where there is a fight, you need to get good rank. Without optional you cannot do that. And optional, if you are doing good, no, trust me, everything is sorted out if you do very good. Because if you understand the answer writing of the optional or the general study wala part, you can replicate in the other part. If I know how to write the answer in GS, it is easier for me to write the answer in the optional also. I just have to make few adjustments. So understanding the art of answer writing is good. Now it depends upon person to person. The way I write, she might not write, he might not write, she might not write. So it depends upon person to person. How to reach at that optimum level of self answer writing. I would say for that you require some answer writing test series or some papers for that sake. If you don't want to join any test series, at least there are multiple test series available in the market. Go there, purchase them, and try to write the answers. Then only you will be able to understand what is your style. Whether you make too many, whether you are comfortable in writing paragraphs or you are comfortable in writing points. Whether you are comfortable in inculcating diagrams or not. Which diagrams should be there, flowchart, etc., etc. So it all depends upon how exactly you have learned the answers, the writing part of the answer. So yeah, majorly this was for the optional, and in case there is any other thing, you can totally ask the questions now. And if I forget a few other things, I'll tell later. Okay? Do you have any other questions? Do you have any question? Can you repeat? What was my answer writing strategy? See, okay. There are few areas that I will be covering on this. Okay, sorry. Is it loud enough? Okay. Yeah. So suppose this is this is the paper, right? This is the page I have. How about I give you a live how I write my answer, so that I'll give you how exactly I write my answer. Okay. So can we generate a question? Do you want to give any question to me? Huh? Easier, yeah. At least give me easier. You want to write me about left-wing extremism, no? Okay, I'll just tell you first that, and then I'll be showing you by applying in an answer. Okay. So the thing is, if it is a 10 marker, you get 2 pages. If there is a 3 marker, you get 3 pages. Sorry, 15 marker, 3 pages. Okay. So my idea is to complete all the page. Okay, whatever the page it is. Examiner should not think that iske paas answer nahi tha. He does not know the answer. You must think like, arre iske paas to bahut answer tha. Even if you don't know the answer, to be frank. Okay. Now there are 3 areas: introduction, body, conclusion. Everyone knows this. There's nothing new in this. Okay. Major part is body, but if you don't write introduction and conclusion, you might be the only one who is not writing, because everyone else is writing introduction and conclusion. So when the examiner will be looking at the copy, he'll be like, why hasn't he written it, right? So it's a psychological thing. It's not new thing. So it's better to write introduction, conclusion. They're not very hard. You can find so much of introduction from different sources. Like, see, I can give you, for example, any question on poverty comes, you can state any data, like according to this committee, there are this many people poor in India. Introduction is good. It's good enough introduction. It won't take much time. But suppose if a question is coming in some context, for example, poverty in India is increasing day by day, then try to introduce your answer in that format. For example, this XYZ committee has mentioned that the rise in poverty has been excruciating for India or something, right? So try to make introduction through that line. Conclusion also is very easy. You can write multiple things, like if any question comes on farming or agriculture, you can write doubling the farmer income should be the aim for India. Or you can write any health. See, there are only enough areas the question comes from. There are not many areas. So you can use SDG goals. How this happens, I'll just show you by writing an answer. SDG goals, fundamental rights, some slogans or some forward-looking answers. Slogans like Jal hai to kal hai. It is Hindi slogan. I think if you guys know it, right? Yeah. So slogans, or you can write some forward-looking solution or some solution-orienting conclusions. For example, we should introduce technology in agriculture in order to increase its productivity. That can be a simple conclusion. There's no perfect conclusion, no perfect introduction, no perfect body. It is just how comfortable you are in writing them. Alright? So that all is introduction and conclusion. That is body part. Now body part is the major part. Introduction mein, does anyone has any doubt how to introduce? Yeah, you have. Handwriting. Okay, handwriting matters. It should be legible. It should not be like running writing. You are not doctors. Any one of you is doctor? None of you are doctor, no? So yeah, handwriting matters. It should be legible. It need not to be the best writing in the world, but it should be legible writing in the world, right? And the thing is, initially the writing will be very slow. It will look impossible to do it. To do 20 questions. Abhi easy lag raha hai. Have any one of you have ever written a single paper? No, right? It looks easier. That 20 questions hi to hai. Like we can write in 3 hours. It's easy. But when you realize that it is 50 pages you have to fill, it becomes thoda tough. But then when you start writing, it becomes real tough. Okay? It is actually a tough task to complete all the paper. So initially you'll be able to complete like I think 14 questions, 13 questions. I was able to write 13 questions I think in the first, and I gave like 4, 5, 6 tests. It just was not increasing. I reached till 17, but it became stagnant. I was thinking I just cannot write it. But then when the time came, then the fear, no, not the fear, when the reality is coming, the exam is coming, somehow the hand started to move more fluently. I started to reduce, to take less time. And when you know that you have to complete the paper, you somehow find the way. So you find the way. But in finding those way, the writing should be legible. It's not like you're just running. See, the thing is, I'll tell you exactly how answer writing can be easier. It's actually a good way to do this. Yeah. See, in a paper of GS, there are 20 questions. 20 questions, 15 markers and 10 markers. For 10 markers, you need 150 words. And for this, you need 250 words. So if you calculate the number of words, 150 into 10, 1500, 250 into 10. Sorry, this is 10 question, number of 10 questions of 15 marks. Okay, 250 words. So 250 into 10, 2500. Overall, 4000 words we have to do, to write overall in a paper. Optimum, 4,000. If you divide it by 4,000 by the number of hours we have in minutes, I will not be doing this calculation, otherwise it will be embarrassing to me. Okay, so yeah, all of that comes out that optimally we should take around 7.5 minutes for this and 10.5 minutes for this. It's exactly not this, it is 7.8, I think, or it is 10.2 or something. But yeah, optimally, if you are taking 7.5 minutes to write 10 marker, it is good. If you are able to write your 10.5 May, 250 words marker, it is very good. So this is the major broad category of 7.5 and 10.5 minutes that I wanted to follow. But since we are human, we cannot process like exactly how much can we write. So sometimes it will exceed, sometimes it will be 9 marks. And initially it will exceed too much. Even in the final paper that I wrote, the initial questions were like, I want to impress the examiner, so they would exceed to 9, 10 minutes or something. Then understand, every minute that you're taking extra, there are some questions that you will be reducing time, right? So the thing is, try to have balance, like keep this in the head, 7.5 is the target. But even if it goes to 8.5 or 9 minutes for 10 marker answer, try to keep it in your head that 1 minute you have already taken extra. You have to reduce it somewhere. So if any question comes where you don't know much, you can quickly make some diagrams and just write something blabbering about it in 5-6 minutes, right? That's how you manage the things. It's like it's like a marriage or something. If someone speaks, the other one listens, and then she speaks, he listens. But if both of them speak, it is tough, right? So at some point you have to adjust. Your excess should be balanced by your deficit in minutes. All right. In this, sometimes you'll be finding some of the questions are taking 12 minutes. Some of the questions, then you have to adjust it with 9 minutes, etc., etc. In reality, it won't happen this way also. In some of the questions, whatever may you do, you will always be landing up, unless you are very good at it, which few of my friends are, unless you are very good at it, some of the questions like you will have to write like in 3 minutes, 4 minutes, 2 minutes, etc., etc., etc. And I can tell you, even in those minutes, you can write both of these questions. In 2 minutes also, you can write 3 word markers. You just have not written it, so you won't know it yet. But you can do it, not to the best of the quality, but to some of the quality. You can do it, okay? So you have to make adjustments. And in all these adjustments, make sure that your writing is legible. Pretty clear? So whenever the time is getting tougher, try to increase the font size, or do some of the tricks, right? Like increase the font size. Agar India ka map, if you are making small, make it big map, so the words will be less, etc., etc. So do those hits and bits, and you will be able to reach to a level where your answers are completed and they are legible. Am I clear? Okay. So what was I doing? I forgot. Answer writing. So yeah. Okay. Can we go back to where it was? Okay, we were nowhere. Okay. So writing will become legible. You have to make adjustment and make it legible. Okay. So yeah, majorly those were the things. Suppose if any question comes to me, IBC I've already told. Now what I will do is in my body was remaining, right? These days the questions are coming a little dicey. They are not asking what is like how are oceans formed, or etc., etc. They're not asking that trivial questions. What is climate change? The questions they are asking is how is climate change affecting the lifeability of India, or something. So every question has a context. Okay. In some of the questions there are 2-3 parts. Okay. So suppose let's generate a question. Agriculture in India. Okay, this is not legible. It's an example. Okay. So you have to make it legible. Okay. Agriculture in India facing problem. Can everyone understand this? Okay. What are causes and solution? Discuss. It's a very fair question that can come actually. I'm generating it now only. ऐसा नहीं कि मैं कुछ याद करके आया था. I'm trying to do this also. Okay. So see, in this I can show you how exactly my ABC will work. In this question they have written a context. Agriculture in India facing problem is facing problem. ठीक है. Grammar को थोड़ी देर के लिए leave it. What are the causes and solution of the discussion? This is the main question. So it has asked 2 things. What are the causes and what is the solution? So if your answer you are writing, you need to address both of these things. None of them can be left. If you leave that, the examiner will not give you mark, right? And like for that part at least. So you have to address. I'll be making it 10 markers. 10 markers. Okay. So there are 2 pages. So when there are 2 pages, roughly I will be writing 1 page for cause, 1 page for solution. It is fine. You need to balance your answers. Actually, right? So it's not like you are writing 10 causes and then writing 1 solution only, right? So it's not then your answer looks unbalanced and unbiased also, biased also, that you are just seeing causes but no, you don't have much solutions. Okay, as an administrator you need to have solutions. So we need to write both of these half page, like 1 page. This is an agriculture in India is facing problem. Now I'll be introducing my question. How to introduce this? Can anyone tell me an introduction? Can anyone tell me an introduction? Can you be a little louder? Actually, it's tough to understand. Huh? Agricultural GDP in India, no? Oh, very good. GDP. What happened? GDP of agriculture. That is a very good point to actually start with if you want to. Any other? Importance of agriculture, but that will take a little longer words, right? Importance, I would say still GDP wala is better because it will be taking less words. Introduction you have to complete in like 15-20 words because it's 150 marker, so you have to have body of like at least 100 words or something, no? 20-25 markers words for introduction, 20 marks for conclusion, you'll left with 100 marks for body. So if you are writing importance, it will take longer. See, these are the areas that you will only understand when you will be writing answers, like how much time it's taking, how much words it is taking. Okay. Any other introduction can we get? Any other introduction? Good enough? Fair? Or you don't want to try? Okay. So this is a question. Agriculture in India is facing problem. GDP and importance are the 2 ways. See, it's a very good way to write GDP. Like agriculture in India is contributing to 17% of India's GDP, right? It's good enough. But I would say one more thing is agriculture in India is facing problem. If we can write in this context an introduction, like we can say like the agricultural contribution, the agricultural contribution in GDP of India has dipped by 1%. If it is, I don't know. If we can write like that, like showing the problem in the introduction itself, that is one way ahead, a little better. Like currently we are just writing GDP is 17%, but if we can write that GDP is declining or stagnant or not rising to the best of its pace, or let's say that GDP has declined 1% over last 5 years of agriculture in India. This shows the problem, right? it is somewhat showing the problem, no? Everyone is understanding at least this. So this is also good. Most of the questions you cannot find in context to it. So at that time only these times come to your resort. So you can use them. Clear? So introduction is fine. Anyone has any doubt regarding introduction? Anyone? No one. Okay. Yeah. Now I will be making our body. Now the body part comes. You don't need to write body. I'm just writing body for your sake. Body part comes. Okay. So in the first page I'll be writing causes, and almost in the second page I'll be writing solution. So what are the causes? Can anyone tell me what are any causes of agricultural problems in India? Lack of technology is there. Again? Fragmented lag. Anyone else? Infrastructure. Okay, sorry. Wait. Fragmented land. Ma'am has said infrastructural lacking. Lack of market? Warehouse. Facilities. Market facilities. Market facility. Laws. Finance. Very good. Low MSPs. Climate change. Electrification. Post harvest. Okay. कुछ और होगा? Is anything? It's looking good though, right? It's looking like a good diagram, etc., etc., right? So yeah, these are the major challenges that I also can know. Okay. Now the thing is, you have to write all of it in a page, right? It's a good diagram, but the thing is, we cannot explain or write something about that point. For example, finance I wrote. If we make this diagram, right? Diagram is important in the exam, we all know, right? But if we write like this, we cannot explain. Like for him, finance, exactly what finance? Like if you want to give an example, for example, if you want to give example of how climate change is impacting agriculture, we cannot write example here, no? Can we? We cannot, right? But yeah, see, the thing is, you have to find ways or in areas where you can make these diagrams quickly. They help you in covering the pages and make the look vibrant. But here, the two parts are different. They have asked it. So you have to answer in one. Clear it is? So you can make this diagram, go to the second part and write properly about solution. It will be well balanced answer. But I can say that is tough to get very good number in this, because you have to write something about finance also, about infrastructure, what type of infrastructure is remaining, right? Right. So right now let me try to use all these points to make some of the good points. These are very good, by the way. You will get very good number in that also. But this is the collective effort of all of you. When you will be alone writing, you won't be getting that many points. This is a collective answer of all of you guys. So if you can do all that, that is good. I'll just try to make it a little better. Not better. Just the way I write. It might be better or not. I'll just try to do that. So in body, I'll be writing causes. I'll be putting dabba. So I have already introduced my answer, writing the body. I'll be writing the causes of agricultural, what was the causes of agriculture, India facing agricultural problem, no? So what I will try to do is, I will try to stratify my answer right now into 2 or 3. For example, okay, upstream, downstream. I can cut it in 2-3 ways. But right now, let's talk about input. Or wait, there's no necessity to do like this. I'm just trying to segregate my things. Okay, then harvest, Then marketing and post-marketing. It must look fancy, but it's not actually. It's whatever you have told only. There's no need to do like this. I'm just trying to make points. And post and marketing. Yeah, marketing. So in input, what are the inputs we have? We have soil. We have fertilizers. All that you said actually, infrastructure, finance. Finance is actually an input. Finance is right. And what all did you say? Technology is also an input. Technology. Soil or land you can do. Then in soil or land you can try to do try to further fragment it. This is not the answer. I cannot write answer like this. I'm just trying to make few structures for you. All right. Land in the land you write like small land is one problem. Right. Fragmented land is another problem. Then infertile land or less fertile land is another problem, etc., etc. So we are trying to have some idea like how it should go, right? If you write in your answer, if you write in a flow, an examiner will also like to answer to know. But suppose if you are writing land and then you're talking about marketing, the harvesting, it is good, but flow looks a little better. For example, a kid when he take birth, blah blah, bada hota, then does everything, no? So it looks then good. In fertilizer you don't have much, but in fertilizer you can talk about weedicide, pesticide, etc., etc. If you know about those things. Finance, most of the finance we know is bank finance, MSP. Sorry, you can talk about MSP. You should talk about in marketing. Marketing. I'll just write quickly. MSP is there. In marketing, we can talk about APMC mandis. We can also write about the 3 farm bills that have come recently. Right? So these are the areas that you can cover actually. This is not the proper answer, but these are the areas you can cover. And if you write your answer properly, for example, what are the causes? I'll be writing my first point maybe. Land is an issue. Example, the agricultural census of 2015 says that 86% of the farmers in India are small and marginal farmers. Are you aware of it? Right? So I can show that small and fragmented area by that, and substantiating my point by an example. Example is the example or any data like agricultural census 2015 says 86% are small and marginal farmers. Right? This is how you substantiate your answer. In this, there are points written. There is no substantiation. Low MSP. But if you can write like rice gets okay, you can write pulses get lower. Pulses MSP is high only actually, I think. But any like coarse grain crops have lower MSP as compared to rice and wheat. That is why there is a skewed production in India. If you can write that, that is an example. That is substantiation. It is just a point. Like I say, you should study, but how to study? Exactly. If you can write those small points, no, because everyone is writing these points, understand it. Everyone is writing. Your answer is only made different by the examples that you are making, the innovative answers, the flows you are following, etc., etc. Is it clear? Right? Then technology. What type of technology? Here you just wrote lack of technology, right? A lack of technology. Here it is. Can you tell me what is what type of technology? Like my point can be lower technological innovation or lower technological inculcation in agriculture is causing stagnation in production. Example. Now what can be my example? कुछ पता है technology कैसे कम है? Drip irrigation. That guy is very good. Drip irrigation. For example, drip irrigation has not reached to the land side of India. It is an example. It is not something that is out of the blue. We all know it. But if we don't write it, examiner will be like, technology come hai, what? Right? And this won't take much time also if you are writing the answer. When you are writing the answers, it will be very quick. And after 4 or 5 papers, all the examples will come to your head. they'll start coming to your head. ऐसा नहीं है कि कुछ नया आता है. So you can talk about drip irrigation technology. You can talk about India should have seed dispersal by drones in order to have uniform crop production, right? All those things India is lacking. So as small things. Then in harvest, we all know about the stubble burning, right? Stubble burning wala issue we know, and even post harvest there are multiple losses because most of the crops are there in the field only, they don't cut because the prices are lower in the market, etc., etc. If you write those examples, just write India incurs a lot of post harvest loss. Example, most of the farmers are unable to sell their crops right after they've harvested, or write something about it, like if you have any data. For example, Telangana, we're in Telangana, right? We're in Telangana. Oh yeah. So I don't know about Telangana ka harvest, but you can say in coastal areas, the fisheries fishery sale had shown a dip during COVID times. You all know it, right? They show a dip. So if you write just some example from anywhere, just write those things. That makes your answer substantiative. So this is my cause wala segment. Now understand this. You don't have too much time to write this. If you just write these words only, it will cross too much of word limit. You won't be having this much space. So you have to prioritize your points, which point you want to write. Those prioritization only comes while you are writing the point, or writing the exams. For example, Virat Kohli know how to play straight drive and cover drive and all those things. But when the ball comes to him, he prioritizes what shot he has to play, where the fielder placement is, right? That comes after practice. So you will know all those points by the time you will be reaching the mains examination. Trust me, there is no lack of information. But which to prioritize, which not to prioritize, will come only with the practice. Am I clear? Am I being clear? How's the Josh? Hi. Okay. So this is the cause. Don't worry, it's not a tough thing. It's not a tough thing. It's just easier thing done too much time. People don't try to do it, so it becomes hard. It's easy only, it's not tough. Currently some of the words might be looking fancy to you, but they are not actually. They are very simple. Land, soil, fertilizer, finance, technology, harvest, APMC, Mandi, MSP. We all know about it, no? We just did not thought that is answer में ऐसे लिख सकते हैं. But we know about all these things. It's nothing new. Then the second segment. इतना बड़ा discussion हुआ. What is the solution? Solution भी important है. So what are the solutions we can do? Does anyone have any idea? कुछ solutions बता देते हैं. Let's say we have a solution S. कुछ तो solution होंगे. तेरे पास तो होंगे. GM crop is brilliant solution actually. Any other solution? Okay, I think you are tough to understand it. Okay, now tell me, climate change का solution क्या हो सकता है? हाँ? Stubble burning reduce करो या consumption या फिर emissions कम करो, right? Emission और stubble burning को अच्छे से prepare करो, right? This is another solution. Go back to the problem. Lower MSP. इसका solution क्या हो सकता है? कुछ solution दिखता है? Cloud seeding. No, it is actually MSP को क्या बोलते हैं उसको? Minimum support price. It's not regarding cloud seeding. DBT. DBT is actually a very good solution. That will introduce technology also in our solution, right? So we can do DBT type of thing. DBT is okay. Only okay. DBT is direct benefit transfer. The government is these days giving direct money into the bank account of the farmer. You know this? So that is direct benefit. Earlier, what used to happen is the MSP was given later on, etc., etc. The person, the middleman, used to not give too much money, and will he will not give the right money, etc., etc., etc. Subsidies, subsidizing. So subsidizing through DBT is good. Subsidies we provide in money. No, what happens usually is farmers they do drink alcohol or do small things that are not good. But if we give in the account, it is a bit tough to go to the bank account and get rupees for the alcohol. When you go to the bank account, you go for some more time. Okay, so yeah, subsidies को अच्छे से prioritize करें. What can be the problem solution for infrastructure? I don't know much, but yeah. Does anyone know? Infrastructure के problem को कैसे solve करें? Make any solution. How to you might not know it, but you can make it. I also don't know. Introducing private player. Any idea? Research. Increasing the fund for agricultural research. I might not know what is the fund, but if they increase, it will be better for the infrastructure only, right? So, what we can do is research funding को increase करें and private player को introduce करें, etc. You're seeing the solution are getting made, right? Not coming out of the fluke. Electrification का, do you know anything? Solution? Solar, very good. Including or introducing more solar, or for that sake renewable energy into it. So hydropower, this, tidal, etc., etc. Right? There are actually 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There are too many to write actually. You get the point, right? This is how you can write the answer. So what you can do is the solution. Your part should look like, or will be looking like. Like for example, I'll give you 1 point. Better utilization of the fund available with the government. Example, rationalization of subsidies using DBT. It looks very fancy. It has nothing to do with the fancy, by the way. It is what we just did. Second point I can write. Making agriculture more resilient to the climate change. Example, we can give an example, like using traditional method of agriculture, or introducing more coarse crops in the dry or semi-dried area, etc., etc. Introducing the practice of undersea farming, organic farming is an example. So you know all these points. Write the major point, give an example. Okay, write a major point. For example, GM crops. So what you can do is, the point can be technological innovation to increase the productivity. Example, introduction of GM crops on rational lines. Right? The point that I'm saying have been written like this only by me in my exam. It was not coming in the first attempt. Initially it was not coming. Initially it was like GM crop introduced to increase this, something was coming, and then I was writing. Sorry for that. And then it started coming, I'll be writing point. The number of point also reduced significantly. And see, if we are the thing is, answer writing is so good actually, if you see it dedicatedly. The way you write your point also matters a lot. I'll just give you an example. No, I'll go to another one. Yeah, see, a point can be written very climate change. So suppose I am writing the cause for agriculture productivity loss. Climate change is one of the major factor behind reducing crop productivity in India. This is suppose a point is there. Now in this line only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Roughly 15 words have been used up. And you are not supposed to use itna sara words. It is too big. You can just simply write climate change also impacts productivity. This is how you reduce the number of words, and write example in the remaining word. Example, increasing post harvest due to stubble burning. This point along with example has been substantiated within this number of words only, right? You cannot afford to write these many things. Is it clear? Things are clear, right? Is it getting bored? It's not getting bored. Okay. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, that's how the question would be. My solution is also, the causes are there. Some of the ways to write solution is there. And finally, my conclusion. Let's write the conclusion. Oh, conclusion. Please give it to me. What can be conclusion? Government initiatives. Government initiative. Government initiative. So government should take initiative, right? Towards this, yeah. See, as simple as a line like government should take initiative to increase the productivity is also good. It's not bad, but it's not very good. It's actually very good, right? But yeah, can you give any other conclusion? How to conclude our answers? Anything? Anything coming in the head for agriculture? Any slogan? Nothing is coming in the head. See, if you can speak, trust me, it will be good for you. Nothing is coming in. You can say any slogan, no? Like yeah, increasing the productivity will help in doubling the farmer's income. You know, doubling the farmer income, no? It was a slogan given by this government too much. You can use as simple as that, or public and private player need to come together to increase the productivity of agriculture. This can be another conclusion. Conclusion can be anything that you can think, or there is a time. Okay, it's time to evaluate the agricultural productivity in India, or anything of those sort you can say. But I would say on the line of government, if you can write, it is good. For example, increasing agricultural productivity can help in realizing the potential of doubling the farmer income in India. This is a very good way, because the government stance is also shown, etc., etc. So there are multiple ways of writing conclusion. No best way. Anything will be fine. But if you can write something better, think of something better, it is good. This is how I think an answer everyone understand now. An answer can look like. It might not be necessary to look like this, but yeah, this is how I used to write the answer. This is how it's basically logical only. Nothing is wrong in that. Yeah, so that was for your answers. Is there any other question? Current affair. Current affair. How many of you guys have this issue? You have? You have, ma'am? You have? You have? Okay, almost everyone have this current affair issue. Okay, see, current affair have become very dicey. In prelims, mains and interview, in all the stages, current affair is important. You cannot give a very good answer to an interview if you do not have a very good idea of current affair, what is going on. For example, Taliban in India Taliban issue in India, etc., will be a problem in current affair. It is not much of study for, etc. So the thing is, its utility in all of this is there. In prelims, I personally find somehow it is becoming absurd to assess how much current affair is coming, right? So just to remain safe, it's better if you do 1 year of current affair from any coaching institute material prior to whatever you are doing, whatever the prelims time is or date is. Okay? So if you do 1 year at least, it becomes safe in your head that at least I have done something. In case any question comes specifically from that area, you can answer, right? But I would still not say that it is very certain the question will come. And even if the question will come from the area that you have read, that you will be able to answer it from the material that you have studied, I will not say that. But it is important to cover certain level of current affair. For me, 1 year I would recommend. If some of the people who are like good enough, they can go for 1.5 year or 2 year earlier also. However, I would not go. I did not do 1 year also properly this time. But 1 year is something that is good enough to have like decent cost to benefit ratio in terms of getting number. Right? In prelims. In mains, it becomes very important. The same material that you are reading here in the prelims, you you just need to reread it and formulate some of their points from marketing. For example, in this, I wrote about farm bills, right? This is a current affair thing. It's not earlier nahi tha ye. There was land always, fertilizer always, finance technology always, but this is a current affair thing, right? So in answer writing, it becomes very important to have current affair things. And these days the questions are coming in mains too much based on the current affair. For example, the question might come recently, India and Japan has seen very good relation. What are the causes? This is a current affair thing. Science and technology inculcation in these days is seen prominent in India. How? So these are the things that you will be able to understand how by doing current affair from that source. Now some of the people might have idea that I'm reading newspaper, I'm reading the Hindu or Indian Express or for any other newspaper for that sake. It is very good. It is very good. I personally do not like reading newspapers, so I do not read. But it is a bad habit. As a good administrator, you should always read newspaper. I do not like it, I do not do it. But it's not a stubborn stance. You should always read the newspaper in order to have a good understanding of what is going on in the recent time. Suppose, for example, you're not reading the newspaper, then reading the monthly at the end of the month will become very tough for you. It will, like, you don't know what happened, and then you're reading the monthly, like so many things that has happened, and they will be writing in crisp form, etc., etc. So it becomes a little tough, right? So suppose if you are reading newspaper, then also is it necessary to read monthly? I would say it depends upon you. If you are reading newspaper good enough and you are confident that you have covered almost all the news throughout the year, it might not be necessary. But I have personal experience of people not doing it entirely for all the year to that level, and they at least need something at the end of, like when the prelims is just coming or mains is just coming, to revise something from. You cannot start that newspaper again. If you have made notes from newspaper, that is a very good thing, but that consumes a lot of time. So there is always a dilemma. There will always a dilemma, like should I do newspaper, should I not do newspaper? What I can suggest is do newspaper if you can, and if you are liking to, and if you want to become a good administrator, not like me. Okay, read newspaper, very, very good. Make some notes of some of the topics if you want to make, or like some of the articles that you want to make, some of the issues that is coming up if you want to make, and try to refer to any of the coaching material at least. It becomes safer because they work hard enough to inculcate things into the current affair, right? So most of your hard work is done here to make notes, so it's easier there. But if you have made your own notes, good dedicated comprehensive notes from newspaper only, it's well and fine. If you want to go with that, it's well and fine. I would still suggest it is safer way. So is it clear? In mains, the current affair becomes very, very important, because so many questions, like you can find like so many questions directly related to the current affair. Like in almost every paper, 10-12 questions are coming from the current affair only. You can easily find. International relation, it is totally current affair based. Economy, mostly the current affair. They won't be asking what is K-shaped economy in the question. They will be asking like NBFC in India is not performing well. Why? So you should know the current scenario and all those things, right? So yeah, it becomes very important, current affairs. Am I clear here? Is there any other question regarding current affair? No other? Okay. Any other question you need? My book list. Oh, okay. My book list is very small. Okay. But yeah, whatever you have, please try to follow that. I'll just tell my book list. Majorly, I've not changed my subject from prelims to mains. What I study in prelims, I study in mains. So, majorly, I'll just tell about prelims first. Okay, for polity, I have Lakshmikant. Everyone know? Lakshmikant. For economy, I do notes. See, the one that I resort to are Mrunal notes. But if you guys have this coaching institute's good economic notes, that is good, well and fine. I find it more compatible to me. For history, I would segregate it into two, ancient and medieval, and modern. For modern, I just did spectrum. For prelims actually, yeah. In my second attempt, there were few things that I added. There were few supplementary things that I added. Okay, so I'll just tell those also. Them also by red marker if it is. Yeah, it is there. All right. For modern history, I read a spectrum majorly, and for ancient medieval history, in my first attempt, I read nothing. In my second attempt, I read it once, but that meant nothing to me. But for the source sake, what it was what it was? Tamil Nadu NCRT. He knows more. Tamil Nadu NCRT. Okay. Then fourth, geography. See, geography, I did 11th and 12th class NCRT. This is the only NCRT that I have read, actually. Sorry. This is the only NCRT that I have read. Other than this, I have also read one civics ka 11th class ka NCRT, but there was no need. I personally did not wanted it. So this is the only NCRT that I have read, but I personally recommend you to read NCRTs. They are very good foundational books. If you have time, it will become very smoother for you if you read NCRT. Economics NCRT also, some of the questions are coming directly from there. Art and culture ka NCRT bhi you can do. So they are very good sources. I did not do it personally because I had lesser time. In my last year of the college, I did not have that much time. So I straight away went to the major reference books. Okay. In geography, I did this and I stopped at this because I have geography as an optional. But for those people who do not do this, I would recommend you to, if you want to, you can do GC Neon and Leon. What is the name of that guy? What that book? You know that name. I don't know the surname. So GC Neon Leong wala book you can do totally, or some videos of Raj Tanil are also there. Some videos. You may or you may want to do any of them, or you can just stick to NCRT. That depends upon how your preparation, how your marks in the mocks are coming. If they are not coming good, try to do them. And the coaching institute notes are also must have been there. So you can first see the coaching institute notes have been taught to you. So try to find comfortness with them. These are not being taught to you, like this is just a book if someone gives you, right? So if the coaching institute material are understandable to you and they are comprehensive enough, try to first resort to them, because you anyhow are like studying them, they are being taught to you. Why to not do that, right? So yeah, geography for that. And for art and culture, I just did Nitin Singhania's few chapter. But I was highly lacking Nitin Singhania. I don't know the spelling of Nitin Singhania. I did art and culture from this book, but I just did 5 or 6 chapters from this book. My prelims knowledge in terms of art and culture is very bad, very poor in terms of prelims. But in terms of mains, I can write very good answers. So this book was good enough for me. For that sake. But if you have your coaching institute note, again the same thing applies to you. If you have good coaching institute material note, and if you are finding comfortness with them and getting good number in the mocks, it is well good and fine. If not, then you can try this book. If not this, there is a person called Nitin Sangwan. His notes are also available on the net. You can try them. This is what I have followed, so I am trying to tell this. Is there anything else remaining? Science and technology I never read actually. Sorry for that, but I never read. Yeah? Environment. I have a book. My God, that hurts. Wait. Okay, this is 6th. Environment. I have a book. Shankar IAS, and I hate that book to core. I just cannot stand with it. But this is the only book that I used. Shankar IAS, so I cannot do anything about it. I personally find this is like no need to do this book. But if you don't do this book, you feel like why am I what to do? But I have no utility for this book. In mains, it might have helped me in writing some of the points from this book, but I personally feel it is so boring, so long, so lethargic. How to study? This is a very good material that can come from other material sources. These days are coming online. PMFE also actually recommended me back in those days. Materials are coming good these days, or if the notes of the coaching are there, they are good. Then also, if you want to do, try to do Shankar IAS, won't take long. Do it very quick. The data and the facts are outdated. You can still like do some of the basic concepts like mixed cropping, intercropping, etc., etc. There are some of the concepts that you can use, that you can do from there. So yeah, this is the book that I did. Might have done some more supplement. No, this is the only I did. So, but I do not endorse this one. This is something that I don't endorse. Other than this, any other thing is there? Okay, so I'll just tell you one more thing behind this. In my second attempt, I try to cover up some of the areas also. Wait. Some of the white color. Okay. Oh, we are in black. Yeah. So in the second attempt, I tried to, because I had a help from a friend of mine. She actually tried to give me, for history, she gave me, I think it will require me taking the name of other coaching institute. Will it be fine, sir? The material from other coaching institute will be fine, no? Just 1 or 2, okay. So history, for modern history, she actually gave me some Shriram's notes. I just did 10 or 15 pages of it for modern history wala part only, and they were actually good to me. I did that. Other than this, in geography, I used a lot of browsing. Like I tried to Google a lot of things. Google was very helpful in finding those areas. Like Google Map, I would say, is very, very good. Whenever you find any questions regarding like wildlife sanctuary, or any questions regarding arrange them in north to south, or what are the areas surrounding this particular lake, etc., etc., go to the Google and actually look at where exactly it is, and try to look at the periphery area. I always get confused where the Red Sea, where is Persian Gulf. See, I'm again confused. So it's tough for me. So whenever a area come or a place come, you should, like, it's easier to go to the Google map and try to find it. Also, for example, a question comes, for example, where is Nallamala Hills? Suppose a question comes, no? Nallamala, I'm saying because Andhra Pradesh is there. Okay? They are in Nallamala only, no? Andhra only, right? They are in Andhra. So yeah. Suppose the question comes, where are Nallamala Hills? 4 options are there. Andhra, Gujarat, Rajasthan, India. Not India, sorry, Goa. Okay? You find like Andhra is okay. Try to go to the Google and search for other mountain ranges in India. Right? The question is there. Like mock test, you are giving a question has come, but this question won't be repeated. No, you like the chances of it being repeated in the main exam is very less. But the chances of mountain ranges coming in paper is high. So this is an area of hill. Like they have asked mountain ranges in India. So what you can do is go to the Google, type mountain ranges in India on map. It will show you a very beautiful map, and you will be able to find where are Western Sahyadri is here. Here we have Mahadev Hills, here Amarkantak Hill, वगैरह. You can totally find Aravali Hills are going from here to here. So multiple question comes like, which of the states does Aravali Hill touches? I'll just mute it up. Sorry for this. Baby shark doo-doo it is, by the way. Yeah, so try to find that area. For example, if the question comes, where is Sariska National Park? It is in Rajasthan. Okay, so try to find other national park on the map. Just go to the Google, search national park in India on map. It will give you a map. You can see, here we have Hamis, here we have this specific Sanjeev Gandhi National Park, this. So just don't stick to your, I got a very good, correct answer. Find other areas where the question can come from. From that question only. That's how you analyze your mock test. Right? Yeah. So these were majorly the sources. 6. In this, I think I did environment में और कुछ किया था क्या? No, this is pretty much it. Then mostly it was regarding current affairs वाला thing ही आ गया था. So majorly this is what I have done. Yeah. Ethics. Ethics. Okay, ethics. Ethics is not from there. Oh, by the way, oh yeah, actually it is incomplete because it's for the prelims only. Ethics comes in the mains part. This is for the prelims. For mains, I redid them. There's nothing else I did in this respect. कि मैं इसको change, like replace I did not do. But in mains you have to understand that some of the areas become stagnant. For example, in mains you need not to do ancient and medieval history because it doesn't come. Right? Rest comes so you can read all of them. So I'll just tell you about GS in terms of GS. Everyone understand now, no? So I'll be telling about each paper where I did it from. Okay. So GS1. Can you drink water? If it's fine. I don't know how do they drink with it. Is it cool? Fine? Alright. Yeah, so in GS1, I'll tell you the areas that come in GS 1, 2 and 3 and 4, and then I'll tell you the sources. In GS1, the area comes first is not polity. What is it called? Essay. So you want to take the essay first? Okay. Okay. I'll take the essay first, and I'll come back to it. Okay. See, essay. You know about essay template, like how many words we have to write, what we get right. So I'll just tell very quickly. There are 2 essays we have to write in 3 hours, and each essay requires 1,000 to 1,500 words. This roughly translates, if you have a normal writing, it roughly translates from 9 to 12 pages. In 9 to 12 pages, you can write itna words, right? My personal handwriting is around 100 words. Is around 100 words per page. So I required around 10 pages to reach this actually. But yeah, I actually breach it. So I reach somewhere around 1,300 or something. This is what I write. People can write whatever they want to do, but this is tentative. From 1,000 to 1,500 we have to write. Cool. 9 to 12 pages. So this is how essays has to be written. So one thing is, when you go through all the GS papers, your prelims preparation, you need not any other source for essay. You absolutely need nothing else. But if you have something, use it for your advantage. For example, if you have taken some material from AKS, if this is the coaching institute, or any other material, or someone suggested you this material and you have already read it, do not throw it, discard it. You have already need it, you have it, use it to the best of your capability. But if you have not, essay does not require any other material specifically. There are multiple materials available though, right? So just like GS, I told you major template, no, you need introduction, body and then conclusion. In the essay also the similar things happen. You need introduction, you need a big body, you need a conclusion to have a very good essay. See, something starts, then it goes into a major line and then it ends. That's how every literary component should be there. Few things that you need to take care of in essay is grammar becomes important here. It might not be very fancy, but keep it very simple. If you want to keep, some of the people, how many people have some problem in writing English? How many people? No one? You have, ma'am? You can understand what I am saying, no? Very simple, no? Other, or you are comfortable, no? See, essay does not necessarily mandate you to write fancy words. There is no need. You can write very simple words in very simple manner, but it need to be grammatically correct, because at the end of the day this is a literary component, an essay. It is not an answer that we are writing, it is an essay. So it needs to have a proper statement, need to be simple if you want to keep it simple, but yeah, keep the grammar correct. At least keeping the grammar is important. Essay usually do not have any diagrams. Usually do not have. I have known 2-3 people who have made their diagrams, in essay also, and they have scored good, but I have never done it, because this is a literary component. In English it is, and essay made diagram is bit dicey. right? So I would not take that risk. I will not draw the diagram. So try to resist yourself from diagram. I'll tell you about diagrams in GS later on. Okay, it is very important actually. So then they need a bit diagram. Then majorly in what essay you need is you need arguments and you need substantiation. I'll give you demo, don't worry, and substantiation majorly. So the thing is, now you have to fill 10 pages. Roughly, let's say you have to fill 10 pages. And in those 10 pages, you will be giving some argument or some statement regarding your essay, right? You'll be giving that, no? And then anything saying in the air does not mean, but you have to give the example also. For example, if you're writing like we need to work hard to reach to the goal, etc., you need to show those people, those areas which have worked hard, right? So you need to show those areas. So argument and substantiation is very important in this. Argument from different areas also. Now I'll give you a basic idea how to do it. Can we? All right, wait. Let's go here. Okay. Usually, in introduction of essay, you try to write regarding the topic. Let's take a topic. Want to create a topic? You don't create. You create hard topics. any easier topic person? You don't want to. Okay. Let's say war is necessary. War is necessary. एक topic बनाते हैं ऐसे randomly. Or you want to take another topic? War is necessary. This is a topic. Now usually see, a lot of people might be having a lot of things. So suppose a question has come like this. First thing you should try to do is try to brainstorm, as people say. It is a very fancy word. Brainstorm your ideas. What it just means is try to think as much as you can think about this idea. Do not start writing, because if you start writing right away, it will be haphazard, just like that agriculture problem. If you just start away writing, it will become haphazard. But if you are organizing your answer, it will become good. Organization is very important in essay. Alright. So war is necessary. So what are the things that come in the head? Okay, just randomly tell me what are the things that you can write in war is necessary. Any area, anything. Any idea, ma'am? Aapka idea? You don't know? Avin? Struggle with yourself. It's a very good area. War with yourself. Are you getting it? War with your, huh? Can you repeat what he's saying? It's a race between journey. Success statement. What are you saying? Success? Success journey. Okay. Okay, let's say success journey. One is this area, and that guy said about war with self. Any other area you want to explore? War is necessary. No other area? I think this is a tough one, maybe. So yeah, there are multiple areas. See, one thing is, what we can do is majorly what I can try to paint an answer, right? And then we will organize it in the essay, right? So yeah, I'll be just erasing this one. See, the thing is, first, the areas that I can cover in this is, what is war, right? What war is. Usually it just inculcates the physical war, like me and you fighting, or me and you fighting. But it can be war with the self, war. So there can be multiple areas that you can cover with it. Physical war, which is the first thing that comes in the head. Then you can have psychological war, of getting out of anxiety, depression, etc., right? These are the wars. Then war, psychological ho gaya, physical ho gaya. What else where you can? Yeah, majorly these are only two areas. What is the war, right? Then necessary it is written, no? Why it is necessary? I can write about this area. Why is war necessary? Any of these wars, can you tell me? Any of, whether it is physical war, psychological war, why is it necessary? To protect. Very good. Any other point? Huh? Freedom struggle. Yeah, very good. Our ancestor fought so that we can get freedom on 15th of August. Why else why it is necessary? We can write whatever you want to write, like to get favorable outcome, to perform better, etc., etc. Sometimes war is necessary to do what is right. For example, if we are on a battlefield and we are on a fight and we are not fighting, someone else will shoot a bullet on me, it will be in my head and I'll be dead. So sometimes it becomes necessary to protect yourself, which he has already written. Protect yourself or protect anyone, to get freedom, to fundamental rights. So try to write these areas in your essay and give an example. For example, I can give, war is necessary to protect a person as well as a community. Example you can give, for example, in the battlefield, war becomes necessary in order to achieve the victory and survivability of a person. At community level, war becomes necessary to protect the vulnerable sections of the society, etc., etc. This need not to be physical war. This can be said about other wars also. For example, war against poverty, war against marginalization of the people, war against diseases. These are the areas we can totally cover. So there are like hundreds of areas that you can cover in this area only. It is not necessary to be physical. Usually person will only think about the physical war, or will go to some other extent to psychological war or something. But these are the areas that you can inculcate, and this makes your answer very vibrant. He is writing war on terrorism, economic war. Huh? Yeah. So you can so many dimensions are there that you can just write those dimensions in the essay and substantiate it with the example. You have enough dimension. For example, we need to fight a war on poverty. Don't we have enough examples? In India, more than 20% of the population is living below poverty, getting nothing, like barely sustaining, etc., etc. Poverty is the main cause for hunger, and hunger is the main cause for the death, not just in India but also in lower LDC, least developing countries, etc., etc. So just one point of war on poverty can have so many areas. So the more you write, the more you read someone else's essay, the better areas you get, and the organization of those essays comes. Is it clear? Is it clear, right? Things are getting clear? Okay. So yeah. So in this, what you can do is normally write war. Introduction. A good introduction will be if you can just interest the viewer, right? So everyone might be writing war is necessary. So the thing is, you can write multiple such introductions. For example, Indian forefathers or the freedom strugglers of India fought against the colonial British people and got this. If that would not have done, even Mahatma Gandhi at the end of the essay, do or die, that has some war connotation, etc., etc. It need not be physical war. It can be war from Satyagraha, etc. And that's how war becomes necessary sometimes, right? So you can intrigue an examiner by looking like, oh, he or she has mentioned the areas of our four strugglers, etc., etc. Or you can go from different aspect also. For example, war. You can start your essay by explaining what war means to you. A war need not to be a physical war. It can be war for your situation. It can be war for your outcome. It can be war for becoming an IAS officer, IPS officer, or civil servant for that sake, etc., etc. Right? You can intrigue an examiner. Just don't write war is necessary, because don't go start away with that introduction, because you have to write 10 pages, 1,000 words. So just make some innovative things over there, Okay, one more thing that I would like to add in this topic only is an area. The question is asked, war is necessary, but somewhere in my essay I will also try to include one unique or few unique points with other might not be able to think. They will be thinking their own unique points. So one of the area that is coming in my head is, I will say, how I will be showing how war is important in other areas. However, sometimes war need not to be there. It has shown that it is necessary. For example, right now the too much of right-wing extremism, right-wingism is happening, like cow vigilantism and all these are happening. They are saying that there is a need to fight against some marginalized section. This need not to be there. So war is not always necessary. So there need to be some adjustment in the interpretation of what war is. So I'll try to bring this aspect also. See, 10 pages an examiner will be reading, he'll get bored. If he finds some good point, like, oh, this is a good point, so we need to keep him interacting. Is it clear? It was understandable, no? It was not tough, right? So that's how you can be doing it. In conclusion, what you can do is write a paragraph. Conclusion need to be a paragraph only. ऐसा नहीं छोटा सा, because 10 pages you have to write, right? Conclusion has to be paragraph. So in conclusion, what you can write is, how has India, or like how has we as a civilization worked good enough to keep war to minimum, or what is the Indian concept of war? For example, India might be fighting for unity in the world. India might be fighting for equal representation of all the people in the world, right? So those areas comes in your head once you are versed with your GS preparation, you have done enough of the prelims preparation, read your books multiple times, not once or twice only, multiple times you have read your books, etc., etc. Then it comes innate in your head that this is the area that I can end my essay with. Positive connotation आना चाहिए when you are ending your essays. Like you can write Sarve Bhavantu Sukhina Sarve Santu Niramaya, or like any of those good quotations that suits with war. Or there are multiple quotes, like rise up and don't stop till you achieve your goal, etc., etc. That shows that a war mentality is there to do something positive in the world. These areas will come in your head once you are versed with your preparation. So this is for the essay. Is there anything else in the essay that you want? Nothing? Everything is fine? Alright. So for GS, I'll just try to write. For GS, the areas that are covered are history, same source what I wrote over there. Alright. Geography, same source I wrote over there. Society. Society is one additional area. Okay. Usually society is covered by my current affair booklet only, the one that I read, that only. But for the static portion, like how much poverty is there, how much different dimensions of women empowerment in India, etc., etc. I read one book, I forgot the name of that book. This year, I did not read that book actually properly. What I did is, I just skimmed through it for 1 day or 1.5 days and just wrote major points on my laptop or tablet, just made the notes. Like, for example, if women empowerment is there, then what are the areas? I just wrote the major areas, and that's how I did it. I was able to make them like in small, like a PDF of very small number of words. Okay, I just skimmed through that book. I did not read that book properly. It was around 200 pages book. Yeah. So once I converted it into these type of things, I was able to revise it in like 2 hours or something. It was not a hard job. So yeah, this time I did some one book of 200 pages. I'll tell you once if I know. I just don't know. But mostly society is covered under current affairs. It's good, well and enough. But if you need some static portion, you can have the book. This is for GS. Okay. In this, I just refer to my earlier notes of prelims. वो मैं बताया ना source book. World history, or yeah. In world history, this is actually very tough to do. World history is very tough to do. What I did was Vision IS का एक booklet आता है. I did from there, and it is of like 200 pages, 150 or 200 pages or something. It is so big, so elaborative, and you find only 1 or 2 questions coming from world history. So it becomes like whether you should do it or not. So I would recommend, if you have nothing, then go with that booklet. But if you have any other source like of this coaching or any other material that is available very good, try to do that. If you don't have anything, try to do Vision IAS wala. And it is so extensive, so informative that you cannot hold it. You feel always like, how can I do? And last year, no question came from this. Like last year, not a single question came from world history. It takes so much of effort and time also. But yes, I had already made some small compact note by just writing the headings only. I don't write elaborative things. I just write headings, small bullet point. I made few notes of like 10 pages maybe, and I was able to revise them enough. In my first attempt, I made them. Yeah. So that's how world history I did. If you have nothing, try to go with this. If you have something, please go through that. And if you have this material then that is good, well and enough. Okay. It is because way too long and the output is not very good. It's very less. Okay. In GS2, major portion that comes is polity. Governance is another thing that this time in my second attempt I saw for the first time that governance is something else. In first attempt I was like polity governance hota hai, Lakshmikant padh ke gaya tha. I just went Lakshmikant only, but this attempt I was like governance bhi kuch hota hai. Okay. And we get international relation, IR. IR is totally my current affair based. I read nothing else than whatever is there happen in current affair, I'll do that. That is my IR. Okay. International relation it is. In governance this year what I did was, there was a guy, I forgot who, 95th ranker, some Reddy he is. Huh? Yeah, he's some Rishikesh Reddy guy, something, 95th. I did his notes of governance. However, I could not find too many areas, but yeah, the coverage was good. They are so small, it might not cover all the areas, but they are small and compact enough for my comfort that I did them. I was able to do them in like half day or something, and governance was through with that. I tried to even compress them in my own ways, typing by typing, and I compressed them and I could revise them very quickly. So that's how I did governance this year. Okay, and polity I did again Lakshmikant. There's no other way, for me at least. I did Lakshmikant. See. If you keep your static portion intact, then you will be able to revise them multiple times by the time you are writing mains. If you keep on changing your sources, then you really cannot revise things. And if you cannot revise things, you cannot write things. There is a difference between prelims and mains. In prelims, you need to eliminate the answers and get the answer. But whereas in mains, you need to write the answer. You have to produce. So the thing should be well versed so many times, revised so many number of times, that it should come innate in you. Right now I actually know like where exactly are which part of the chapters governor ka kaun sa part hai, because I've read Lakshmikant only. If I change for the mains some other material, that I might be able to write that much, right? So yeah, Lakshmikant say polity kiya tha. Any other areas that you want? It is good. Yeah. Then GS3 I did for economy. I did that same material that I wrote, Nal. And for disaster management, I searched on Google notes on disaster management. I don't remember which disaster management notes came to me. I've got them and just made one, like front and back, 1-page note of disaster management. Just wrote like if cyclone is there, 2-3 words, that if my question comes I will be writing these words, like so that, because I have to write the answer. The question these are coming is like floods in India are increasing, what are the ways, what are the consequences. You anyhow know all of these points from your geography, from your environment. You need not read to from there. But suppose if flood is coming, you need to know 2-3 facts, 2-3 bodies or anything. I wrote them so that I can write it. For example, for cyclone, India has some dedicated early warning system regarding cyclone. Actually, for cyclone, India has that. So I wrote it so that if any question comes, cyclone are increasing in India, what are the causes, I can just write that like India also have a dedicated early warning system for cyclone. That makes your answer like not general, it makes your answer specific. So I just did that. But there are multiple materials for disaster management available. If you need detailed reading, if you have time, please do that. I did not wanted to do it. I just made smaller notes and used it in my answer writing. That's how I did disaster management, right? I think they were of vision, but I don't know. You can just search disaster management notes for UPSC and you can find ample disaster management notes. Some of the books are like 100 pages, 150 pages. That much attention is not required for disaster management. You just require few comprehensive notes. Few words from each in there. For example, if any note is, in my notes I would say what are the things that were included. And I would always put it. For example, National Disaster Management Act 2005. There was a slogan called Build Back Better. So I will always end my disaster management question by Build Back Better. No matter whatever question comes. Build Back Better to hamesha hi chalta hi hai. Right? Then there are also some Yokohama strategy. I wrote these words. Did not wrote about what is Yokohama or what is NDM 2005 में कौन सी चीज़. I just wrote NDM 2005. Question आएगा. I have to write NDM 2005. Like I will be writing it. Okay. I do not know what is Yokohama strategy or something. I don't know what exactly are the provisions in NDM 2005. But I wrote it so that I can revise it at the end of the day. Right? Then we can do like first responder. These are the words that I wrote. Responders, etc., etc. So I wrote it. I understand what is disaster. I understand how to manage it. The way to present it very good is by writing some of the points, and I wrote them. That's how I prepared disaster management. You can have proper things also. Okay. Then for economy is there. Yeah. Then we have security. For security, it is tough. Security, majorly what I did is the current affair thing only. Security. Current affair only I did from there only I did. In my first attempt I referred to a coaching material, but that was of no use to me. It was so big. Each of like there was history of Myanmar, Mizoram, Manipur, Nagaland, Arunachal Pradesh, Tripura. All this like specific. There were like 4 or 5 pages on each of their history. Like this is the political leader. This is that. It is good if you know them. I just could not retain all that information because these days the question that is coming is simply insurgency is increasing in Northeast India. How? Why? Cause, etc., etc., etc. You need not exactly know each of them. So, but if you know one of the 2 points, for example, here there is this political party is active here. These terrorist group are there here. If you know them, you can just substantiate your point, right? I do not needed it, but if you know them and if you have a smaller notes of each of these areas or these things, it is very good. The coaching institute can provide that with them to you. All right. So that is for security. Majorly, my security was by current affairs only. Is there any other area that comes in this? Huh? Environment is by Shankar IAS only. That is the only thing that I did for environment. Shankar IAS. Yes, of course, along with this, the current affair material is there. Current affair material mein polity, economy, history and all those comes. You know that, right? Not history. Polity, economy, environment, security. So all these things come, IR and all these things comes. So that I did and my answers were made current affair based on the basis of them only. That's how my GS3 is. Now coming to your final question, GS4. GS4 is ethics. Now ethics has been very remunerative these days. In my first attempt, there were some, okay, I'll just classify in my first attempt, second attempt. In my first attempt, I did some online videos. I saw them, I wrote them, but I could never revise them. So it was like, say if you cannot revise anything, you really cannot write anything about that. So I cannot revise because ethics, I prepared like 20 days before my mains only. I started thinking कि ethics भी पढ़ना होता है. I did not knew that ethics भी करना होता है. That was how naive I was in this preparation in my first attempt. So when I started doing preparation 20 days ago, before my, so I quickly saw some of the videos of ethics, and straight away did not read them. So it was like reading nothing, but at least I had some idea what are the areas comes in ethics, right? So in my first attempt I got 131 number, which were good enough, not to the best level, and not they're above average only. They're like good number, they're not bad number. In this attempt, the material that the videos that I made last year, read I last year, I made note from that material, read that material, and then I got 119. So yeah, that come okay. One of the reason behind this is the marking scheme has dipped. Last year the number that were given in ethics were too high. This year the number that were given in ethics were less, so they were among the highest, not this one. Right. However, I would still say I like reading any material for ethics has made me not any more ethical or writing anything better. But yeah, I read it just so that I can write, at least have the idea that I can write from my static portion also. Right. So this is how it is in ethics. What I can say is there are two areas. 13 questions comes for the static portion, like what is aptitude, in Indian philosophy, etc., etc. So there are multiple words I would say about them later on, and then there are 6 case studies. Are you aware of it? Case studies come, right? So it's more how you write your answer rather than what you know. If you know how to write answers good, they will think that you are an ethical person, right? But please be ethical also. It's not like if you are ethical, it's good. It's not something wrong, right? So there are 13 questions like this and 6 questions like case studies. These are more remunerative because these are 20 markers. What I try to do is I try to find 2-3 toppers copy. One of them was from this state, Anudeep Duri Shetty only. His notes were very his copies were very good. Then I found Kanishk Kataria, 2019 batch IAS officer. Then third I used Akshat Jain sirs. Then fourth I used Ashima Mittal ma'am. So I saw their copy. How do they write the answers? Not just in GS3 but in all of the GS1, 2 and 3, 4. How do they write the answer? How exactly do they inculcate the diagrams? How bullet points they are using, etc., etc. They helped me so much that I could write very good answers in GS, even in ethics, even if I know nothing. Right? So it's not hard to do ethics. Try to have at least one source in your head. Then try to see how the answers they write, or anyone who write, or the material that is coaching is providing. Like this is how you should write the answer. Try to analyze how you should write, and then finally perform it in the exam. You need not be worried about ethics में ये पढ़ना है ऐसा कुछ नहीं है. You just need to write good answers. For that, what is necessary is knowing the syllabus. Ethics में syllabus is very important because there are multiple words written like aptitude, attitude, emotional intelligence, social intelligence, etc., etc. In these words, try to have knowledge beforehand. In case you want to do a little better, try to know the definitions beforehand, because it is better to know the definition. It is better because if I ask you what is aptitude or attitude right now, if you make a definition, it will definitely be of not that level as what you can have read. For example, the coaching material is providing you the definition of attitude, right? Or on Google, attitude is written. What is attitude? If I ask you to make a good definition of attitude, do you think it will be more crisper? It can't be, right? If I ask you right at that moment, now think about it, you're writing in a paper, now you have to make a definition. It won't be that crisper, it won't be that clear, right? So it's better to have definition beforehand. In my first attempt, I did not have any of that. Second attempt, 2 or 3 के लिए मैंने किया था, ज़्यादा नहीं किया था. Luckily, I did not get any question. 1 or 2 question came. For those only, luckily I read. Well, like I did 1 or 2, 1-2 pages of some material was there. I read the definition from there. I did not read all the words definition, and luckily I got from there only. I was reluctant to not do for all, but it is not a good way. Try to have a definition beforehand, okay? And few of the examples from their areas you can do. For example, a few examples of how emotional intelligence is important. Empathy के कुछ examples, sympathy के examples for sympathy, empathy, etc., etc., etc. Right? If you can get the examples, you need not to create in the paper, and you can just right away do that. So yeah, this is how ethics I did. Is it clear? Clear? Yeah. Any other question? Any other question? Any other question we have? Huh? Per day, how much time? Okay, how many want to know this question answer? You want? You want? You want? Okay. Uh, See, I would say number of hours would depend on the stage of preparation and your comfortness. If you don't burst me off, I will say some of the truth. Okay. See, the thing is, initially when you are starting this preparation, no, it is so big, so huge. History, polity, environment, areas are so much that you need to be at a comfort zone. Initially, you require higher number of hours. You require higher number of hours. You need to sit and do like 6 hours, 7 hours, 8 hours, 9 hours, 10 hours, the max that you can do. I try to do like 10 hours per day, but it is not consistent. 2 days I would do, then third day I would play games, then fourth day I would go there, and so it would not be consistent. Try to have a consistency. It does not matter if you are studying 7 hours or 8 hours much, but what matters is if you are not studying it continuously. If this is the way, then it is a problem. If this is the way, it is good, right? Try to have consistency. Now we are human, we cannot read every day 7. Sometimes किसी का message आ गया तो बस रातें वहीं से चली गई. So sometimes it will be tough. All right. Try to better it the next day. If you are correct, if you are not on your scheduled time today, try to better it today, tomorrow. Don't prolong it. Okay. Suppose if last 10 days you did not study, guilt come in the head. 10 days I have not studied. People in Delhi might be studying. People there might be studying. Everyone is studying. It's okay. On 11th day, come back to this target. It's totally cool. No one is perfect in this world. You need not to be perfect. You just need to be somewhat adjusting. And adjustability is shown here only. The number of hours you are putting in the work. But if you can go for 10 hours, 9 hours, 8 hours, and then you are going for 4 hours and saying I will maintain the consistency, there is a lack of commitment from your side. You need to sit and you need to study. There is no, no substitute for that. You have to sit initially, it is very important. Sooner, not sooner, like after 7-8 months or like after some times, you'll get comfortable with it. Then you won't need that much time. In my second attempt, I hardly studied. I studied only when the time was coming like very close to the prelims or mains. I studied only then. And I understand the caveats of that also. See, at any stage of time when you don't study, the guilt comes in your head if you want to give the proper attempt, right? If you are the person who becomes lethargic initially and only when the time will come like 1 month before, 1.5 months before the examination, if you want to become that, then have that mentality that I will be doing in that 1 month the max that I will be doing it, right? Do not feel sorry for yourself, because see, you are the one who is not studying in the regular days. Everyone else is doing their job. So if you want to clear and you don't want to do initial work, hard work, then be ready for taking that much toll at the end of the day, right? At the end of the preparation. And trust me, that is more uncertain. What is more certain is consistently studying initially. Later on, you can have your fun. Initially, for example, I can tell Lakshmikant, first reading, how much time does it take? If you dedicatedly study for 6-7 hours, Lakshmikant, how much time does it take in the first reading? How much time? 10 days, 15 days, 30 days for some people, 10, 15, 20 days. Lakshmikant takes so many days, no? Initially. A stage will come after 4 or 5 repetition, then you can do Lakshmikant in 2 days. Another stage will come after 10 days or 10 reading or something, you can do it in 1 day, 1.5 day. But you need to study for that. Those initial 10 times or 5 times of reading won't come easy. So in order to reach to that level of comfort, you need to put in work, right? So it depends upon in which stage you are, how comfortable you are first. Second, it depends upon what is the paper coming. Like suppose if right now prelims are like 8 months ahead, so you'll be feeling lethargic, it'll go down. But then the prelims will start coming, you'll start fearing it, or there's no need to fear it, but you'll start feeling the prelims is coming. Then you will start increase it. The final days of prelims, 1 or 2 days before it, you will not bother about how many hours you should study. You will just find the time and study. Like khana khate khate pad rahe hain, like you will be finding the time to study. So it depends upon the stage of the exam also. How many hours are you giving? Is it clear? So there's no need to compare your hours with your hours with your hour with your hour. What is necessary is, are you giving your best? Trust me, I know many people who have calculated in 3 days of everyday study. I have known who have done like so many days, then also they hours per day, but then also they cannot clear it. So it depends upon person to person. It need not to be static for everyone. But yes, if you want to have some target, try to have roughly 7 to 8 hours are good in the initial stages. That is a very good target to have it. And if you can do it extra from that target every day, it is a bonus. Any other question? Topper student or versus? Oh, you want me to say versus or average? Okay, a topper student. Okay. Versus average student. Now this is my favorite person because he has asked a first genuine question. Okay. See, topper student have their advantages of early in the race. I would say in my academics back in those days, I would say in my pre-10th days I was here. I was on this side. Okay, suppose if this is the barometer, where this is the topperest person, this is the averagest person. Okay, do you want to create any other category of poorest person? No? It's well, good and fine, no? So yeah, I was somewhere here, I would say. I was pretty good. Pretty good. That is the only point that I hate in my life. I would say this. I'll tell you this honestly. The people who stay here, no. If they can stay here for their life, they achieve accolades. They achieve good, great. I don't like this. I regret this part of my life. So, is it necessary? No. Does it help? Yes. I was able to retain so many things in my first attempt just because I have had developed the capability of remembering things in my pre-10th days. Is it clear? It does not came like out of the fluke that you can just start away and you have never remembered anything and now you are remembering polity, Lakshmikant, article 17, 14, 18, 19. You really cannot do it in one day. Okay? Yes. So I was kind of here, might not be the best, but yeah, over here, I would just draw a better line. Maybe here. Okay? Post 10th days, I started feeling here. I was here. I was in JE, IIT, JE wala stupid stuff. Not stupid, good stuff. But yeah, in that race. Okay, so I started, I was here actually when the level of competition increased. Okay, I was here, pretty much here. In my college days, I went beyond this. There's no term of that. However, by the end of my time, I could manage to come to average. Because of UPSC. In 4th year, I started preparing. Third year, semester 2, I started taking, yes, I have to do UPSC, but I started full-fledgedly from there. From 3-2, I started to study. That was the first time I was studying in the college or something, right? So the thing is, your head is like a parachute. It's not like a room that is filled. Like, for example, if you open your head, no, it starts opening everywhere. It starts opening everywhere. It's not like right now I'm doing UPSC, so I cannot know how to walk. You'll be able to understand I'm balancing and I'm having carnal capacity in all those like top level, like high level things. So you start to work. So it has started to work good for me in the college also. I am so bad of a civil engineer that I don't know what is beam and what is column. I'm a civil engineer from IIT Roorkee. Like these are the basic things that they do. Like the whole 4 year, I just came out with the reactions of the forces. I still could not make it. So I was not good in that. But slowly, when I started for UPSC, my head started to open up towards this my college also, my branch also. Okay, so things became average towards me, and I knew like if I could have sustained more, like if there are 4 or 5 or 6 more years of my college, I would have definitely come towards this side. Because the head was starting to pop up. Then college is done. First attempt, I would say, I would categorize it in 2 more areas, okay? In terms of knowledge, in terms of effort. In terms of knowledge, okay, if this is the major line, in terms of, okay, and this is that, okay, in terms of knowledge, I was somewhere here. But in terms of my effort, I would still say I was here. It's like, you're getting how, right? You're getting how, right? I did not know what government is, but I would write what government is. I did not know what are the major problems in agriculture is, but when I will write, even the farmer will say, this is the problem. Are you getting it? In my head, the lack of information was never a problem. I always knew that I know, the much I know, if I can write better than that, if I can write all of that, that is good enough. Most of the people have so much of knowledge. They do not write it or do not apply it. I know limited, and I knew, like, in the first attempt I cannot have enough information. What I can have is enough amount of energy and writing the examination. So that is what I had in my second attempt. In my first attempt I became here. In my second attempt, this started to come here and this started to come here. Effort became very lethargic. I was not committed in this attempt. I barely wanted to give this attempt or whatever it is, for whatever personal reason they are. But yeah, it started to come here, but knowledge base started to come here. The maturity level started to come. So again I was here. Are you getting me? There's no, like a person, usually what a person can be, always topper, he gets through that, he gets best placement, gets best everything, and then he gets into UPSC. A person can be from this side also, always average, and write the average answers, few of the specifics, and you get into IAS. Person can be anywhere in the spectrum. All that depends is how you perform on the final day. And on the final day, the way you perform is not decided by the final day. This is decided by the personality trait that you have been shown towards preparing this examination. That is one of those things. Any other question? Any other rowdy questions like that? Rowdy is a good word, no? In Telugu, I don't know. Yeah. Any other question? No question? Any other idea? Any other questions? So I think that is it for it. Yeah. Thank you very much for being here and for being alive after this session. I know it was very, very tough. Thank you very much. I appreciate all of your time. Thank you. Goodbye.